Coming up on Weber State News, the legislature is considering budget cuts for higher education. What will that mean for Weber State?
Plus, we'll show you what it takes to throw some of the biggest Sundance parties.
And I'll have a look forward with your 7-day forecast. Weber State News starts now. Welcome to Weber State News. I'm Derek Skoughton.
And I'm Kiersten Voorhees. Every year when the Utah legislature begins, one issue is always at the forefront: money. This year, the money conversation has directed lawmakers to budget cuts in higher education, which could lead to layoffs and tuition hikes for universities like Weber State. Our own Gina Barker reports from Capitol Hill.
Thursday morning, the budget cut conversation was revisited when University President Ann Milner spoke to the Utah Legislature's Higher Education Appropriations Subcommittee. University presidents were asked to make a case to legislators on the economic contributions of their institutions.
Particularly, I think they're concerned in areas of science, technology, engineering, mathematics, wanting to make sure that we have the workforce that is prepared and talented to meet the needs of the state in the future.
Early this week, the Higher Education Appropriations Subcommittee defeated a motion for the higher education-based budget in a 10-5 vote. The failed motion outlined a flat 7% cut across the board against colleges and universities in Utah, but whether or not cuts are still coming remains uncertain.
Quite honestly, I think that higher ed will end up having some cuts in this session and will end up needing to make up some of that with tuition increases.
Enrollment numbers have increased at institutions like Weber State with an open enrollment policy, but budget cuts to higher education reflect Utah's declining trend in degree completion. State funding peaked at 32% but has fallen to just more than 18% for higher education. As that number fell, so did the amount of degree holders in the state. The presentations came in the wake of Senator Howard Stevenson's statements that swept through the Capitol's halls, that many college degrees are degrees to nowhere.
In an interview with Deseret News, Senator Stevenson said Utah has tens of thousands of students who get four-year degrees, celebrate commencement, and find themselves with no job and a pile of debt. Stevenson's comments reflect general concerns among lawmakers on the real value universities are making in Utah. The Higher Education Appropriations Subcommittee has not agreed on a possible budget for higher education and probably won't be close to a decision until the state's annual revenue reports are filed on February 15th. Once legislators have the numbers, they can see how much money it actually has to work with for next year's budget.
The sight of blood often makes people uncomfortable, and the idea of needles makes people even more uncomfortable. When the two come together, a lot of good can actually be done. I poked around to find the good in this combination.
The ultimate blood battle began this week at the Davis campus.
A contest against UVU, Utah State, University of Utah, just to see who can get the most blood donations from the American Red Cross.
The blood battle happens each semester in an effort to help replenish the amounts of blood available for those in need.
There's always a shortage of blood because, we can just never get enough, so you can always save it and whatnot.
The Davis campus had a goal to have 35 people donate blood. They ended up having 65 people sign up at the end of the day. These donations don't just help those in need. It makes you feel good to know that you are helping and making a difference.
I feel good that I'm going to help save people's lives.
So join us and help Weber State win the battle and help save people's lives.
The goal is to beat the other schools, and last semester we came in second place. And as we all know, Ogden has a good option for donating blood. Their donations will start in February, and they'll start on the 8th and continue through February 10th in the Student Union Building in Ballroom A.
In the first half of our spotlight on affirmative action, we looked at how affirmative action programs affect the university. To conclude our spotlight, we will look at how affirmative action affects the workplace and employment opportunities.
Benefited business a lot to have people who think a little bit differently, have different life views or experiences, have enriched the decision-making process. The strengths from diversity, from difference, far outweigh the work that it takes to bring a diverse workforce together.
The impact of affirmative action on education, diversity in the workplace, and even athletics were the topics discussed during January's panel discussion about affirmative action. WS Senator Ronald Wisham organized the panel discussion to explore the pros and cons of affirmative action in an effort to educate fellow students on the topic. The title for the event was Taboo Talks. It is the first in a series of monthly discussions dedicated to promoting awareness of controversial issues in an attempt to increase understanding of different opinions. Senator Wisham said he came up with the idea for these events by simply considering subjects that large groups of people feel strongly about. He went on to say that it is unlikely everyone will agree with each other, but maybe if we can understand where others are coming from, we can come to a place where we respect each other. The next discussion will take place on Wednesday, February 23rd at 12:30 p.m. in the Wildcat Theater and will be about the relationship between the criminal justice system and minority communities.
In sports, the men's basketball team cruised to a 68-52 victory over the first-place Montana Grizzlies at the D Event Center last night. The Wildcats were led by senior Trevor Morris, who had a game high of 17 points and 4 rebounds. Montana center and Big Sky MVP candidate Brian Kawali was held to just 10 points, thanks to a solid team effort on defense. Kyle Bollinger and Byron Fulton also chipped in with double figures for the Wildcats. The team will be in action again tomorrow against the Montana State Bobcats at 4 o'clock. Weber State is having a Military Appreciation Day for tomorrow's game. All military personnel and their families can get into the game for only $3 each.
Where were you during Sundance? Well, you should have been with Jedediah at the biggest parties and venue in Park City. Henry Hills needed a legendary production crew for the legendary performances, and it sounds like that's what they had.
On Park City's historic Main Street, the world-famous Harry O's and their production crew played another role for Sundance visitors. After the movies, while others talk about films, fashion, and flops, a lot of people went out to be entertained in a different way. Harry O's production crew provided that entertainment with popular performances by Snoop Dogg, Lauryn Hill, The Roots, Ghostland Observatory, and others. The crew also helped set up the venue for events like the X-Dance Film Festival Awards ceremony, where Jeremy Jones won Athlete of the Year award.
So mega props to all the riders I've been out there with, the mountain guides, the cameramen.
We then caught up with the crew after what they considered to be an 11-day music, not film, festival.
My name's Junior. I'm the production manager from Harry O's, and I just spent 11 days in this building.
I'm the front of house engineer here. I actually live down in Utah Valley, and I've just been staying at the homeless shelter up here, which is Junior's house.
I'm Travis. I'm the stage manager for Harry O's during Sundance. I believe my favorite event during this was Miss Lauryn Hill and Ghostland Observatory. Excellent laser show, and Ms. Lauryn Hill is a very talented musician and artist.
Other bands were there, like Pepper and Oza Motley, where they left the stage wandering the crowd playing songs like the Hokey Pokey, while the production crew stayed hard at work.
I'd say the hardest show that we had to do was Miss Lauryn Hill due to the technical writer and the aspects involved in that.
No hard times other than long hours and having to be here all the time and just make sure everything's perfect, lots of details, but we came through and made everything happen without a hitch.
Just a great crew. It was nice to have some guys back from last year, and just a pleasure to be a part of it again.
The production crew for the entire event was just over 10 people who handled the load in and load out of bands, lights, sound, and artist hospitality. While I was up at Sundance, I ran into some pretty special people, including this guy.
What's up, Weber State News? This is Questlove of the legendary Roots crew, straight out of Philadelphia. Late night with Jimmy Fallon. All right, peace.
This is Jedediah reporting. You're watching Weber State News.
Sounds like a lot of work to do just to have so much fun. Walking around campus this week has almost been unbearable, and it doesn't look like the weather's going to get much better. Derek tells us more about the weather this week.
You know, you're right. The weather really isn't going to get a lot better, and as you can see, the East Coast got wasted this weekend with the piles and amounts of snow that are on a lot of the buildings and everything out there. If we go to the maps here, we'll see kind of what we're looking at for the next little bit. So from here you can see that the East Coast is getting a lot of weather, and they're getting a lot of precipitation, and they're going to continue to get that throughout the weekend. Also, you know, there's a little bit of precipitation over here in Colorado, and they'll get a little bit from, you know, the different storm clouds that we've got going on from there. Up next, we have our local area, a little bit closer in. As you can see, there's a lot more of a storm going on that's brewing, and this weekend, that storm should hit us, and it'll come right down, smack down the middle of Utah. So keep your coats close and be ready for that storm this weekend. As you can see, right now we have a little bit of cloudiness and precipitation coming up here in the green, but it's not too terrible just yet. The snow shouldn't hit us until early Saturday morning, late Saturday night. And here's our forecast, our 7-day forecast. Friday, today, obviously we have 32 degrees. That's not too terrible. Saturday and Sunday, we're supposed to get the snowstorm that I was talking about, and that'll continue through Monday and Tuesday. Then it starts to clear up a little bit on Wednesday and go back to cloudy on Thursday. The temperature should be good throughout the week. At least it won't be as cold as this last weekend has been.
It looks like the groundhog kind of lied because it doesn't feel like spring out there.
I agree. It looks like he may be a little bit off.
Thanks for watching Weber State News. Don't forget you can watch all our newscasts, sportscasts, and Studio 76 on our website, www.weberstatenews.org. We'll see you next time. Until then, I'm Kiersten Voorhees.
And I'm Derek Skoughton. Thanks for joining us.